What's up, guys? It's MexiGary here with episode 6 of the Lovely Stuff podcast. I've just been sitting here on my couch re-watching for the millionth time, I think it might be, John Mayer live at the Nokia Theatre. What was that, 2000, was it 7? Yeah, Where the Light Is, live in LA, 2007, when he did he opened with his own acoustic set, like solo. I think Robbie McIntosh joined him for the last couple of tunes. And then he had Pino and Steve had them on for the three-piece set, the John Mayer trio. Then he did the band thing. But my favourite bit of the whole thing is the trio set, because obviously my band is usually a trio. So I just love the way that he fills in the tones. I love the way he fills in the playing with just being the only guitar player or lead instrument in the band, really. And then obviously the band, Pino and Steve, they sound great playing with him. You know, Steve's a phenomenal drummer, and Pino just kind of goes with the flow. But Steve's got this he's got this kind of really kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but it's quite I don't know, I might as well describe what I mean alternatively. Like all the drummers that I've ever played with are quite a washy, kind of filling out the sound thing. But that's because we play rock music, you know what I mean? More so than blues for sure. But Steve's got a very clicky, kind of like really precise way of like just hitting the drums, and he doesn't meander with the splashes and the crashes and the cymbals in general. So, and Pino's got quite a muted bass sound, but that suits exactly what they're doing. If I was to do something like that, I'd be quite intimidated because what they're doing brings the guitar and the vocals right out front, and I never like that. You'd think that I might, considering, you might think I'm a fucking egomaniac or something, but I like to be a part of the band's sound, unless it comes to a solo, you want to hit the boost pedal and jump out front. But no, it's such a masterclass in modern theatre. And to be fair, like they've clearly taken a lot of the stuff from Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. Not taking it, but and like as far as like the sound of the three-piece band, because Chris Layton was never a thrash metal guy, a thrash drummer. A guy who would just smash the shit out of everything. He was very precise and tasteful. And then, not that people who smash the drums are not tasteful, there's different ways to do it. But, to let Stevie come out the front, especially with Stevie's guitar being pretty clean by most standards, especially in the 80s, where it was all like hair metal, and people with Marshall stacks and, Les Pauls and stuff. And Stevie was just him with his tube screamer and he had two twins in the later days, but most of the time he would just be himself with one Fender twin. To be fair, it was always cranked to shit, so you could never really get that tone when you were trying to do it yourself, unless you were playing in a massive bar or massive venue, and the sound guy was high. The sound guy's like too high to give a shit that you're blowing the windows out with these 2x12 fucking Fender twins just going hell for leather, But the thing is, even at that, with an Ibanez tube screamer, the old, obviously the 80s ones, and I think he had two of those actually, but even with them, I don't think you'd get close to being as gritty or as like whaley as the Les Paul through a Marshall thing. But I always just thought like the Les Paul Marshall thing was just an easier tone in general to get, if that's what you were after. But anyway, I'm not going to go on about tones today. I just brought that up because I was watching John Mayer there, and I'm still watching him. He's just on mute at the moment. So this week's gig rundown, we did the Wolf Jam again on Sunday. Unfortunately, there was no celebrities this week. There was no Cory Wong. Boo-hoo. You can get ideas above your station after a while and just assume that, there's going to be a celebrity coming in every week to kick your arse. But no, I mean, people did kick my arse. It just wasn't a celebrity, you know what I mean? So that was the Wolf on Sunday. Yeah, pretty standard behaviour. Although somebody did break one of the clips on my Boss pedal board. So I've decided tonight, or this week, at the Wolf Jam, I'm just going to do what Gav did and just take one pedal. Some of these guys take massive pedal boards in, and I'm like, dude, have you, like, you've never had a beer spilled in any of your equipment if you're bringing this massive, boutique pedal board in. I'm taking the bare minimum. And yeah, you get judged for it. You're like, oh, can you not bring some decent gear? I was like, yes, I could, if I thought that I would be able to take it home without any damage. So yeah, I'm just going to take in my MXR, what's it called? Micro amp. And I know it's not a proper gain pedal, but the fact of the matter is, most people are playing, well, I'm playing a P90 Telly, they're playing their own guitars, the amp itself is a blues driver, and it's, even the kind of basic clean sound in that, it's not even clean, it's quite gritty. So you just use the MXR for a lead boost, and it's like one knob, one switch, and I'll just take a clip-on tuner, and that'll be fine for me. Swear to God, because yeah. Anyway, what else did we get done this week? It was Danny Kelly's birthday, who's one of our pals in Glasgow. We went to that new place. There was about 10 of us. We went out to that new place, Lucky Strike, and I can't give this place enough love. It's a really cool venue. It's open every day of the week. It's got bands on most days of the week, or at least acoustic acts. And yeah, we were there. Cool rock vibe, pool table, ping pong table. Wait a minute, is it called? Not ping pong table. What's it called again? When you press the buttons on the side. Pinball. What a fucking idiot, man. So we went there and then we went up to Slouch because our pal Andy, James Douglas, is doing the Slouch gigs from on Fridays and Saturdays now from 11 o'clock till 2. And then what did we do on Wednesday night? Yeah, Wednesday we got to see, I went with my pal Ben Stones and Mr. Gary Smith to see a band called, it was Sturgill Simpson at the Battlelands. And my God, that guy he was incredible. But the thing is, I didn't know many of his songs. So, I really should have done my research. But, incredible players. And it's the Battlelands in Glasgow. So, and by the way, if you're not aware of the venue, it's called the Barrowlands, like the wheelbarrow lands, the Battlelands, because it's built on a marketplace, or maybe the market was built around the venue. I'm not entirely sure, but it's like an old dance hall from like a century ago, where people would go, and it's got a sprung dance floor, and I don't know if that helps with the sound, but I don't know what it is about that bit. I don't think anybody knows really why that is the best sounding venue or medium-sized venue in the country, but it's legendary. The Battlelands is just crazy, man. Every band I've ever seen there just sounds amazing. You can pick out every instrument from wherever you're standing in the room. We were pretty much standing probably 2/3 to the back in the centre of the dance floor, just so we could see and hear everything. But I have at some point or another been everywhere in that venue, and it's always great. So even if it's not a band that you're into, I would recommend you go and see a gig at the Battlelands, man, because it's one for the bucket list. I like the Hydro as well because it's a spectacle, but the sound varies depending on where you are in that giant bowl of like 12,000 people. I don't know what the capacity of the Battlelands is, but it's definitely not that. Probably, a couple of thousand, maybe? I don't know. Probably some people will correct me, which you guys love to do in the comments, Wednesday, after the Sturgill gig, we played Stramash in Edinburgh. And just as I always say about Stramash, it's this big converted cathedral, and gear-wise, all I have to do is bring my little Hughes and Kettner 36-watt head, plug it into the orange cab that's there, and I'll take whatever guitars I want to play rock on. This week, I think I took the White Trash P90 Telly, and I took my Tom DeLonge signature, because we always play a little bit of pop punk there. Not a little bit, it's like a third of the set is pop punk. And I think I was playing my 339 for a bit as well, the Gibson 339 that I got last year. But the problem with that guitar is at high gain through a big cab, it can feed back quite a lot. You know, I never have guitar coming through the monitors because we never play stages big enough for that to matter. You know, but yeah, I mean, the sound guy Chris, he always makes sure it sounds great off and on stage, and I know it sounds great off stage because whenever we do videos there, or when we see videos that people have put in their, you know, Instagram stories, you know, I don't even know what the stories are for, man. You know, it's like they disappear within 24 hours. What is the point of putting effort into a story? Is it just to show off to people what you were doing that day? I don't know. Maybe it is. But anyway, so that was Stramash. Really busy. And we played a lot of rock and metal, pop punk, rock and metal, as is the standard. Howlin' Wolf on Thursday night was a bit weird because, yeah, I mean, it was really nice people. There wasn't as much dancing going on as usual, but they were really polite all the way up till the end. Usually you'll get polite people up till about 1 o'clock, and then some people start getting hammered and start like trying to, you know, jump on the stage and stuff like that. And it's not a big stage in there. Or they'll like be leaning on the keys player Archie, who's got his back to, you know, the side of the stage. So yeah, sometimes that can be a hit or miss. But no, it was a good one the other night. Really polite people, and you know, the weird thing was the requests we got. Oh no, sorry, there was a couple of women up from Carlisle, which is where I was born. Actually, I probably shouldn't tell you, you know, English Scottish divide, but there was a couple of women up from Carlisle, and I caught them out the back. Well, they caught me out the back before the show, and they were talking to the bouncer Craig. And they didn't know that I was in the band. And they said to Craig, what's on tonight? And Craig was like, live music. And they went, is the band any good? And he just looked at me. And I was just like, I'm going to go inside so you can get a proper, like, and get an actual response from the bouncer. Because he's not going to say anything bad while I'm standing there. But having said that, it's in nobody's interests, you know, to say anything bad about the pub that you're standing outside anyway, if you work there. So it's not like I'm going to say, like, oh, you probably get better music next door. Yeah, so they came in and they watched the first hour, which, as you know, if you've been to the Wolf to see us, we do 3 sets. We do 3 1-hour sets, and it's between 11 and 2. So it's like 3 50-minute sets, basically. And the first set's always like really old blues that me and Gav and Archie want to play. And then the second set's more like the Beatles and the Stones, you know, and then some more funky, upbeat, modern blues. And then the last set is basically just anything goes. So we could do like AC/DC or Rage Against the Machine, some Eminem, whatever, just to keep, you know, people interested at that time. Because I feel like people's dopamine levels, when they get drunk, you keep having to top them up. I mean, I know that firsthand, you know what I mean? But with the music, if we started off with a set of covers that everybody knows, like the rock stuff, they'd be like so excited and dancing away and like really digging the tunes. And then you take it down a notch for the second set, they'd be like, it's getting a bit boring now. I kind of don't know these tunes. And then the last set, if we did the first set last, the place would be absolutely empty because it's all old stuff. Like I'm Tore Down, The House Is Rocking, Crossroads, Terraplane Blues, if I can remember the words to that one. If I Had Possession, Open Judgment, like Robert Johnson, Clapton, Rory Gallagher, B.B. King, Frankie Miller. I know that's not old to a lot of you, but it's old to me. I was born in '83, so most of these bands were like dying out at that point, you know. So to be able to play, to let's just make it a bit more positive right now. To be able to have a venue that allows us to play these old songs by bands that we would love to have played with in the past, you know, or at least to play these songs that were popular back then. When you come into a blues bar, and these girls, by the way, the women that I was saying came up from Carlisle, they were like, they came and stayed for the first set. But before we even started it, they were like, "Are you going to play some Taylor Swift?" I'm like, "Oh no, you're not going to get that in here." Well, what about the Killers? Nah, you're not going to have a good time. But to be fair to them, they stayed for the first set. And I did chuck in a couple of like well-known tunes in that first set just to make sure everybody was having a good time. But at the end of it, they were like, they're like, "Oh, what you playing in the second set? Is it going to get better?" Is it going to get better? I mean, the place was pretty busy, considering it was the day before payday in February. You know, it was a Thursday before payday in February. So we were doing all right, you know. And they were just for them to go, "Oh, we're on holiday. Can you play some Yeah, let's just change the entire vibe of the venue just because you've come up from fucking Cumbria." So I was like, "No, you're just not going to enjoy yourself." And then for them to go, "Oh, we didn't know any of them songs. Is it going to get better?" I was like, I can't say this to you. I can't say, "Well, go and find another pub that maybe has," because there's loads of venues in Glasgow that's got covers artists on every night of the week, and most of them do, you know, chart stuff. It just so happens that when you come into Howlin' Wolf on a Thursday night or any night, you're not going to get Taylor Swift or the Killers. You're just not. It's a blues bar, and you'll get some rock and roll, and you get some classic rock, and you know, obviously, like I said, we chuck in some like curveballs towards the end of the third set, but you know, they just sometimes I just despair. Try and keep people in, and they're like, "Is it going to get better?" Christ, you're just judging bands on whether you know the songs or not, on the skill of what song is being played. Anyway, sorry. So on Friday there, I had a day off, so I spent a bit of time setting up my guitars, restringing my guitars, and putting new stuff on my main three played guitars at the moment. The big ones that are going out all the time are I just like switching it up. So it's the 339. I put new strings on that and set it up, and it turns out the strings that were on that are been the strings that have been on it since the day I bought it. I don't mean the stock strings. I don't mean the ones that came out the shop. I always put Elixir 10s on new gear just to give it a chance, you know, to see what it's going to feel like and what it's going to sound like. But so that's been out quite a bit at weddings recently. I would never take it to a pub gig, a late night pub gig. It's too precious to me. And the other one was precious. I know what you're going to say to that, but never mind. Guitars are there to be played, but you know, I don't want it dinged. Some guitars look cool when they've been road worn with dings and you know there's beer splashes burned through the paintwork and all that shit, and the you know the pick guards chipped because somebody smashed the fucking mic stand into it while breaking my iPad or iPhone at the same time. So anyway, the 339. That's got new strings in it. So the other one that got new strings was the second version of my Highway 1 Strat, because I've got two of those. One's the earlier one, one's the later one. I forget right now which one's which, but it's the one that I've been taking out most with the noiseless pickups. I just feel like I get less hassle with that one. It feels almost identical. It's actually a little bit easier to play, but I just prefer the older one just because it makes me work for it sometimes. But the new one maybe feels just easier to play because the pickups are noiseless, so I'm not having to battle against feedback and, well, I guess, you know, I mean squealing or buzzing, you know. So plus the tone pot on the bridge, the tone pot on the bottom is wired into the bridge, and I'll never understand why Strats were ever like that, you know. 50s wiring, they call it, where it's just like volume and then tone for the neck, tone for the middle, and then nothing going on for the bridge. Like as soon as you switch to the bridge, you're stuck without a tone pot. So I like to get the bottom tone pot wired into the middle and the bridge at the same time. So that's what I do with all my Strats, you know. I think the John Mayer signature might have been already like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. But yeah, most Strats that I've ever had, I just get that wired in straight away because I don't understand how people can use the bridge on a Strat without a tone pot wired into it. It just seems so alien to me. It's just like a pickaxe. You know, sometimes you open it wide open, and it sounds great. But yeah. Plus, I don't know, maybe it's just the stuff that I'm using, but seems to be a perceived volume dip, especially when I'm playing with the 5-piece. So anyway, I like the volume, the bridge pickup on the guitar on the Strat to be wired in, so I can take it down to like 5, maybe 4, if I want it extra beef. Extra beef. Speaking of which, I've been 80% carnivore recently. I don't know if that's something I should be talking about on here, but I mean, who cares, really? Well, I'll tell you who cares in my experience. Vegans, obviously. You know, each to their own, but I just don't believe in carbs. What a fucking douchey thing to say. It's like, what do I know? What the fuck does somebody who's built like a fiver know about, nutrition? But anyway, I just don't think, I think people eat too much carbs. You know, I don't understand why every fucking burger needs to come with, you know, like like 40 or 50% of your burger is bread. Do you know what I mean? That's what's filling you up. It's not the protein on the fucking veg. It's the fucking carbs. And that can't be good for you. Anyway, listen, I've got my own problems elsewhere. So don't need to take my advice. There's plenty of other places on the internet you can get advice on that kind of stuff. So just to finish my chat about guitar setups there, oh, by the way, I just went for a pee. I don't know if you noticed, but I took a break there. I went for a pee, and I just thought it was funny. It'd be funny to tell you that. So my downstairs toilet is right beside the front door, and I think it's weird. I don't really think it's. I don't think anything that I do is weird because it's just normal for me, right? But I can see why other people would think it was weird for me to have an open book on top of the cistern on the toilet. You know, the tank that goes behind the toilet that you would sit on. That's the cistern. I don't know if they call it the same thing everywhere in the world, just in case you're listening from the States or, whatever. But I have an open book on that. But to keep the book open, there's a spanner across the pages. It sounds absolutely mental to say that, but I was like, is that weird? Because when I like to pee, when I'm having a pee, I stand up when I'm peeing. You know, there's been days in the past when I've stand up pooing as well, but that's that was in a different life when I was in college and that. But anyway, too much information for you guys there, sorry. But no, so when I'm having a pee standing up, I like to at least read a few lines of a book. And the book that I'm reading at the moment is a joke book by Jerry Seinfeld. It's called Is This Anything? And somebody bought me it years ago. And I've read it once already, but it's nice to have a pee at your toilet and stand up and just like have a laugh at the same time. But it's the fact that it's on my cistern, and there's a spanner holding the book open. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to like lean on the cistern and pee. Is that weird? Tell me if that sounds weird, especially if you're a girl. If you went into some guy's house and he had a toilet, you went to the toilet. Oh, I'm just going to freshen up, whatever. And is that misogynistic or me too? I don't know. I'm just going to freshen up, and you find that he's got a book lying open on the cistern with a spanner holding it open. At first I was like, no, I should probably find that weird. But then I was like, you know what? If I was a girl, I would find that quite masculine. Here's why. Here's why. Apparently, it's quite unmasculine to pee sitting down, which is never. I mean, sometimes I'll do it, but most of the time I just want to get it over with. So I'll stand up, just get it done with. Obviously, wash your hands afterwards anyway. But so I'm peeing So there's evidence there that I'm peeing standing up. First of all, and the fact that I'm holding the book open with a fucking wrench, which is, by the way, there's also a toolbox in my downstairs toilet, which is full of stuff like that as well, like wrenches and spanners and, I can't even list all the things that are in it right now. Like the old, it's got like pliers and screwdrivers and stuff like that. And it's got the sockets, it's got a mini socket set involved. So all I'm saying is, if a girl ever saw that and thought, that's weird, they'd be like, well, would it be weirder if I had a bucket of potpourri, or a dish of potpourri, or a bucket of potpourri would be weird, but like a plate of potpourri, I don't know. That was a weird thing to say. Like, why? I didn't start this podcast 6 weeks ago to start talking about potpourri on a toilet cistern. So anyway, I told you about my guitar setups. Oh, the last one was the last guitar that I did, because I did 3, and it was the Telecaster, the White Trash with the P90s. Fucking love that guitar, but I tried to use it sparingly, and I don't know why. I just think I enjoy it so much, and I enjoy the story of the guitar so much that I don't want it to become my only guitar. I feel like if I used it all the time, I would find it hard to play other guitars. I think that's why. That's why I use it sparingly, because if I use it all the time, I would forget how to get sounds out of other guitars. Do you know what I mean? I love Telecasters, I love Strats. Sometimes I can take or leave the Gibson. It's nice to have it. The 339, that is. It's nice to have it, but it's one of them ones that I'll take to a gig and go, you know what, I'm only playing this because of what it is. It's not really got the tones that I want generally, like across the board. It's got a lot of them. I think I got it because I love how Tom DeLonge uses the Starcaster semi-acoustic. And by the way, that is what a semi-acoustic is. A semi-acoustic is not an acoustic guitar that's got a pickup in it. Because you see so many people like, oh, I bought this new Epiphone Hummingbird. It's a semi-acoustic. It's not a semi-acoustic. It's an electro-acoustic. Get it fucking right. You just want to use the phrase semi-acoustic because you think that's more interesting than electro-acoustic. Just use the words electro. If you've got an acoustic guitar that has a pickup in it, and you know what I mean, I know there's some of you going, oh, technically an Epiphone 339 or a 335 is an acoustic guitar with a pickup in it. You know what I'm fucking meaning, all right? So don't come back to me with that. The semi-acoustic is like the F-hole design, like the Chuck Berry style thing, and an electro-acoustic is an acoustic guitar that has a pickup either installed in it from the factory or in post. You can quite easily get somebody to put a pickup in or add your own if you want. That makes it an electroacoustic. Get it right, please. Starting to do my head in that. Oh, also, aside from me having the rant there, the best reason to learn those terms of electro versus semi-acoustic is that if you phone up a guitar shop, and say, imagine if you're phoning up a guitar tech, you need some work done on your guitar, and you go, oh, I need a new pickup for my semi-acoustic, and he might order some parts in that's totally wrong for your electro-acoustic. Do you know what I mean? Maybe wiring, could be, the output thing, could just be pickups, could be part of the electronics, EQ. He'll probably ask you what they will probably ask you what model the guitar is before they order any parts anyway. But I'm just saying, if you were to bring an electroacoustic in and they thought it was a semi-acoustic, you might run into problems. So I wasn't trying to be a fucking diva there or like judgmental. Just letting you know there's a difference between electroacoustic and semi-acoustic. And yeah, Jesus, I was only meant to do 20 minutes today. I've already done 30. Right. So let's talk about last night's gig. It was Saturday at Edmonton Hall. It was a 3-card trick covers gig for David McGrory. And it was I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know whether it was his birthday, because it was a big party. I knew that, but it only said a birthday party for David McGrory. And when I got there, the guy was like our age. Well, probably like 45, or I'm 41, but he was like 45. You know, I was thinking, all right. But then I looked. It was actually for his son, Angus McGrory, who was 18. So I was like, and I already knew that the songs that they wanted was like Blink-182, Linkin Park, AC/DC, and Oasis, but not Wonderwall. And I was like, that's fine with me. I'm sick of that song as well. But I was like, that is so, and I will never stop being amazed by this, because the guys just turned 18. Almost everybody at the party was 18. There was only like four adults, and they were all like, I think it was Dave and his wife and their pals. So it was like 4 or 5 adults. And to be fair, they asked for, one of the older guys had asked for Tom Petty and the Travelling Wilburys, which I thought was a bit of a weird one. So we played Handle with Care by Travelling Wilburys, and we played Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. And I know you're going to say, oh, Free Fallin', that's such an obvious Tom Petty song to pick. But the only reason I did that is because if you're going to play a Tom Petty song, that's really the only one to pick that would cover quite a few generations, because Busted covered it about 10 years ago. Busted covered it about 20 years ago. And then John Mayer covered it about 10 years ago at the Nokia Theatre gig I was telling you about, that I'm still watching right now. So yeah, I thought if we're going to play any Tom Petty song, the kids might know American Girls, and they might know I Won't Back Down. They're not going to know Refugee. They're not going to know that one, or probably more of the other deeper cuts. I know he had so many hits, but I'm just saying, Free Fallin', it's a song that we're good at. It's a song we've played many times. It's a song that I know that a lot of people recognise. So we started playing Free Fallin'. There was a couple of kids, slow dancing and that, like a couple of groups of kids. I don't feel right saying kid, because I don't have any, but I am 41 and they're 18 and they're young enough to be my kids. Again, not trying to sound patronising, but the youngsters, the teenagers, they were dancing to Free Fallin', which was kind of a cool thing for me to see, considering I knew the song before anybody covered it. I heard it like when it was originally released, and me and my dad used to listen to it sometimes, and just in the long drives in the car together. So it's nice to see that song has transcended, generations. So yeah, what else did I want to talk about today? All right, upcoming gigs this week. We've got Box on Wednesday. As you know, we play Box every other Wednesday night. So we're at Box this Wednesday, 11 till 2, playing, I never really know what to expect with the Box crowd. We usually start off with like a classic rock set with like ZZ Top, Hendrix, bit of Stevie Ray Vaughan, Joe Bonamassa, maybe some, who else do we normally play in there? AC/DC and Free, Bad Company, great stuff. Queen, Superstition might go in there, Stevie Wonder. But the thing is, after the first set, you never know what you're going to get, because the people just start coming in requesting tunes, and I'm always amazed by what they are. So who knows what's going to happen at Box on Wednesday. That's Box, Sauchiehall Street, Glasgow, 11 till 2 this Wednesday, 3-card trick, all right? And then the same times on Thursday at the Howling Wolf, which is going to be, well, the Howling Wolf's 100 Bath Street, so it's not too far from Box, really. It's 100 Bath Street. It's a downstairs bar, really cool staff, really cool bouncers. But it's, like I said earlier, it's all blues, rock and roll, and maybe a few curveballs later on. So if you're going to come in and ask us for Ed Sheeran and the Killers, you're probably going to be shit out of luck. But if you like to sit there and watch a band that just enjoying what they're doing to the nth degree and just playing cool old tunes, we play quite rocking versions of these old tunes, to be honest. They're not like, boring versions of these old blues songs. We kind of try to update them as best as we can. So that's Wolf, 11 till 2, 100 Bath Street on Thursday. And that, by the way, that band, it's an expanded version of 3-card trick. So it's me, Dean, my brother on the bass, Gibby on the drums, as always. And we've got Archie McCune on keyboards and Gav McCrory on lead guitar, as well as me. So it's 2 lead guitar players. But Gav does most of the heavy lifting because he's far better than I am and that kind of stuff. On Friday the 7th, now I'm going to do a big post about this one. We're playing again at Lucky Strike that I was talking about earlier. Lucky Strike is a new venue on... you couldn't get more central to Glasgow. It's right beside the Four Corners. It's up an alleyway called Mitchell Street. And it's near Central Station. We're playing there 10 till 12 this Friday, the 7th of March. And again, it's kind of like a Box thing where it's a kind of a free for all. But judging by the last gig we did there, it's very based in Kerrang bangers. So if you like pop punk, a little bit of hip hop, new metal, and metal itself, you probably enjoy it. We do a little bit of Rage Against the Machine as well, stuff like that, the old 90s funk metal. So pop down there and hear a bit of Linkin Park, Blink-182 and everything in between. Right, Saturday night we've got a wedding, so no point in talking about that. Oh, it's in Glasgow. Brilliant. That'd be an easy finish for us. Then, Sunday the 9th, we haven't got a gig, but we're going to see an amazing band called Vukovi, who I don't even want to... They're somewhere between the most experimental parts of Biffy Clyro, the most effects-laden songs of Rage, and also the rockiest parts of Paramore. Now, the band themselves would probably hate me to describe them like that, but I'm just trying to break it down to a point where, we can all relate to what sound that might be. I might even try and put a link in the description of this video for that band, because Vukovi, Vukovi, and they're playing at SWG3. And the tickets are only 30 quid. It might be sold out, for all I know. It might be sold out. Vukovi at SWG3, which is in Finniston in Glasgow, which is kind of halfway to the West End. It's near the Hydro, put it that way. Great venue, absolutely amazing venue. I've seen Father Son there with Gibby and Dean a couple of years ago, and they were absolutely phenomenal. So, if you're about on Sunday and you want to watch some new metal, pop punk inspired... Nah, it's not even pop punk inspired, Like I said, it's somewhere between Rage, Biffy and Paramore. But, if they ever hear this, don't hold me to it, Don't shoot the salesman. I'm just trying to big up your gig, man, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to have to hit the road, man. We've got the Howling Wolf Jam tonight, me, Gibby and Charlotte, Archie and Gav. And this will be the last one for a while that me and the boys will be hosting. Charlotte will always be there with Archie, but it'll be the last one for a while that me and my band are hosting, or the guys in my band, I should say. So, fire in tonight. It's going to be 9 till 1. And like I said, we always have gear there for you, including a pedal and a clip-on tuner. So don't get snobby. You want to get snobby, bring your own rig. Yeah, I said it. All right, guys, thanks very much for checking it out. The name's MexiGary. Check me out on YouTube. Well, you're on YouTube right now. Check out my Facebook and Instagram, MexiGary1. And I've got a new album out called Rogue Biology, which only came out a few weeks ago, and it's getting me most interest of any album I've ever put out because I just stuck to my guns. I was like, you know what? I'm not doing any pop shit on this. I'm not getting the acoustic guitar out at all. There's no pianos. There might be a piano, actually. There might be a synth noise on one or two of the songs. But also definitely check out the only kind of collaborative song on it is really Locked Down. And boy, did we collaborate. We've got people from all over the world, all over the Western world playing on that one. But I've talked about it before. You'll find it on YouTube. It's called Locked Down. And you know me, MexiGary. You can find that anywhere. Find it on Spotify now because I've changed my name on Spotify to MexiGary for all new material. I'm trying to change it for the old stuff as well, but it's taken a while. So, but you know, my name's Gary Johnston. You know, you can find me on that as well. MexiGary's there as well. Love you all. Thank you very much for hanging out, and I'll catch up with you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Put some shit in the comments so that I know you're there. I know you're there because I see the fucking stats from the back end of the video. I see the stats. I can see people are watching. And one thing about this podcast is less people are watching than my music videos, but the people who are watching or listening are listening to the whole thing, which is really cool. It's really cool for me to know that because most of my podcasting heroes do the same thing. You know, they wanted a focused audience that really. I mean, I'm not really looking to monetize this. I just want to talk to you and talk about gear, talk about gigs. Let me know what you think. Let me know your opinions on anything I've said today. I can't remember most of it because I'm fucking knackered, but I'll catch up with you soon. Bye bye.